The Buffalo Bills barely squish the fish Thursday night as they go 3-0 in Orchard Park. We're going to go over all of that game and a lot more on this episode of Circling the Wagons.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Pro Football Hall of Famer and former Buffalo Bill Andre Reed. You're listening to Nate and the Fellas on the Circle the Wagons podcast. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Go Bills.
You'd rather be than right here, right now.
Hey, let's go Buffalo. Hey, let's go Buffalo.
The Bills make me wanna.
What is up, Bills Mafia? Welcome to another episode of Circling the Wagons, a Buffalo fan base podcast. I am your host, Nate. Guys, thank you so much for joining us as we are having another victory episode of Circling the Wagons. Another victory. The Buffalo Bills beat the Dolphins 31-21 to go 3-0 on the season, 2-0 in the division, 3-0 in the AFC. All good things, all great things. The game was pretty good also. We're going to talk about the best parts of it, the not so great parts of it, Sweet Sassy Molassy plays of the game, the Wall of Fame, the Wall of Shame, and some reaction from our followers on social media. But first, I'd like to welcome my co-host, Jon, to this podcast. Jon, man, it's been a couple of days. How are you feeling after that win by the Buffalo Bills in Orchard Park, 31-21?
Feeling awesome. There's never any doubt. And the next at least 3 games look really good too. I think they're well on their way to their undefeated season.
Yeah, the Bills, we're going to get to this later, but the Bills are already like 16 and a half point favorites against the 0-3 Saints, which is a great feeling, by the way, that to have that sort of long week against an opponent that seems very beatable. So, Jon, so my thoughts on the game real quick before we go into stats and all that fun stuff is this game was close. This game was closer than even the end score makes it look like, because they're really just, it was funny. They were able to move the ball. They were passing the ball really well. Josh Allen looked good. They were running the ball. It was just, to me, it just seemed like inopportune moments for a drop or drives to just stall out offensively. And then defensively, it was like the opposite. The Bills could not get off the field at certain times defensively. There were some questionable calls, maybe some challenges or non-challenges, as it were, and just things that just kind of missed field goal, things that kept the Dolphins in the game, and they took advantage of it all the way up until the fourth quarter. So their backs were up against the wall. They were an 0-2 team. You know they didn't want to go 0-3. It's a divisional rival. You know they're going to try their best to beat the Bills. But the game was a lot closer. Am I upset? No. I still want to come away with a win no matter what. But I didn't think it would be as close as it was going as late as it was. Did you see that happening?
I think you're just being too dramatic. I think were you really worried about this game at any point? Really?
I mean, I wasn't worried. I guess worried is not the right word for it. I was just aware of the fact that the Bills weren't winning by more. I was expecting a much larger win. So when it was still pretty darn close going halfway through the fourth quarter, I'm like, oh, okay, this isn't ideal. Right? Like this isn't great. I still think they can pull it off because they're a better team. They're a better coach team. They have better talent on their team overall. I think that they're just a better team. So as long as they don't make a ton of mistakes, they'll be fine. And they didn't. So I think it was just ended up being, that was the major part of it. They just made less mistakes than the other team, and they are just altogether a better team. But no, I wasn't really worried. Were you? You were not worried at all at any point.
I think the only time where I let the thoughts creep into my head were before the Dolphins got called for that running into the punter call. When we had a punt on that drive, I was like, oh, that's come on, guys. And then we got the penalty, and then it was fine after that. But I thought about it for a second there.
But I mean, it was a good game overall. It's, would you love to? There's a lot of teams. I mean, you're looking at, can I be uber critical about this team in certain areas? Like, I mean, we're talking about the Matt Prater missed field goal, whether it was a blocked field goal or he just missed it. Not a great play. It ended up, not only being not 3 points, but the Dolphins scored on that ensuing drive. So it was a 10-point swing right there. So you look at that, and you're like, that was a huge mistake. Sean McDermott not challenging that first Tyreek Hill catch on third down in the first quarter, where he did not get both feet down and he was bobbling it. That was a bad call. It was another mistake for the Buffalo Bills. I mean, there were a few of those. And then in the end, like you mentioned, Zach Seidler, the defensive tackle for the Dolphins, running into our punter and stuff like that. So like the Bills made up for it. But there were a lot of questionable calls where like it came down to coaching a little bit, and a few drops from Coleman, Kincaid, other areas where Josh would just hit him in the hands and they just dropped it. So, a few more of those mistakes. The Bills made plenty of mistakes against the Dolphins Thursday. They just didn't make more than they did, or as important of mistakes.
Yeah, I think like was it the first offensive play where like he threw it to Coleman? I think it was the only play he threw over 10 yards. But like the defender was like on his like yanking on his shirt like the entire 15 yards that he was running with him. It was like such an obvious call. Like I think seeing that, I'm like, okay, we're gonna be fine this game. Like they can't even like people are complaining about separation with Coleman. It's like, well, if he's gonna hold him the whole time, then well, who cares? He can get the penalty, but
yeah. How you gonna get separation from a guy who's bear hugging you and grabbing on, holding you by the shoulder pads? You're not gonna get much separation. I was kind of surprised the Bills didn't take advantage of a little bit more downfield, because the Dolphins are missing so many defensive backs and they lost a couple during the game. But at the same time, they were taking what the Bills or what the defense was giving them. I'm sure they were playing deep so that Josh wouldn't beat them over the top.
I think it was a risk reward thing because I did see Allen looking downfield at times, and maybe some of those throws. He could make those throws, but he took a lot more intermediate stuff, and I think it worked out well. Like so, they said that there were no passes that went for more than 10 yards for the Bills, but Allen still averaged 7.6 yards per attempt, which is on par for his career. Well, actually, better. His career is 7.3, but you look at last year, 7.7, 7.4 the year before, 7.6 the year before that. This year, he's 7.6. So it's on par for what he's been doing. That just leads me to believe that they've been getting yak. He's throwing to the receivers in the intermediate or maybe a little bit underneath, and they're in space where they can do something with the ball, which is better than if you look at a risk reward thing. Throwing it downfield, and okay, maybe they make the contested catch or a hard ball to catch, but maybe it doesn't work out, or maybe it's a pick. But this way, it worked out perfectly fine. And Allen was super efficient. I think it was great. I also noticed that Allen didn't run at all. I'm pretty sure he didn't run at all. I think he took one sack, but no runs. And part of that might have been because of the nose thing.
He had 4 runs for 25 yards.
All right, then. Well, I stand corrected.
You know how I know that too is because I had a parlay that was like I hit every leg. It was funny. Like I was 2 out of 5, and I'm just like, by the fourth quarter, I'm like, I'm screwed. There's no way. Then Tua threw a pick, which was one of them, and Josh Allen needed 25 yards, and he was at 23, and they were like, driving down the field. I'm like, he might run it. Like he might actually run it. And doesn't he run for 2 yards? I got so freaking lucky. It wasn't a big parlay, it was like $40, but I'll take it any day of the week,
Well, he had the kneel downs too, so that probably hurt you.
Oh, he didn't have the kneel downs because the Dolphins, remember, they had the last possession, so they did that little flea flicker thing at the end, so he never got a chance to kneel.
But he kneeled down at the end of the first half, remember?
Oh, yeah.
And that was a little controversial because, they were saying, oh, maybe he fumbled it there. Well, he did bobble, but he still got the other knee down before he threw it to the refs. But
yeah, that was interesting. I was trying to look for it while you were talking. I can't pull it up that quickly, but yeah, that was funny. Here it is. I'm gonna play it for people that are watching or streaming live. You'll be able to see it, and I'll explain it just in case you're not watching.
For everybody else, tough luck.
Yeah, TS. It is what it is. So fumbles it, grabs it, but then he puts his knee down real quick.
Yes, very fast.
It was very fast, but at the same time, I was reading things that like, well, gave himself up.
Yeah.
So, no matter what, it's fine. But they did say the Dolphins, or Mike McDaniel was like, oh, I'm going to be looking into that, with the league. It's like, that's not why you guys lost. But okay. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Let's go into stats of the game real quick. By the way, we're going to do a giveaway tonight. So I'm going to set that up. Let's see.
What's it going to be
Stats of the
for?
Oh, it's going to be for this.
Or
You want to know?
I want to know.
So if you're following along, if you've left us a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or commented in the YouTube comments or Facebook comments or whatever live during during the stream, we have a Terrell Johnson signed jersey that we're going to give away at the end of the year, but we're going to give away some giveaways during the season. This one is a Tito's vodka football. I actually kind of wanted to keep this, so I feel bad giving it away, but they gave us some cool stuff. I have more stuff to give away as well, but this is going to be a fun one. I have a couple of those, I believe, in the box, so we'll give away more later this season, but we're going to try to do more giveaways as the season goes on. So get in here, get your comments in here, make sure you're heard, and tell us how much you like the show. So for the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, 22 for 28, 213 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Leading rusher, James Cook, 19 carries, 108 yards, 5.7 yards per carry, another touchdown. I can't remember what his streak is for touchdowns in a game. I want to say it's like 18 games or something like that. Like, it's a lot of games that he has a touchdown in each game. Josh Allen, the next leading rusher I mentioned, 4 carries for 25 yards. The receiving side of things, Dalton Kincaid, leading receiver for the Buffalo Bills, 5 receptions, 6 targets, 66 yards, 1 touchdown. Khalil Shakir, 4 receptions on 4 targets for 45 yards, 1 touchdown. Elijah Moore, 2 receptions on 3 targets for 30 yards. And then we have near the bottom, Jackson Hawes, 1 reception on 1 target for 5 yards and 1 touchdown, which was a great play, by the way. That play that broke down. Well, let's just get right into it.
Sweet sassy Molassy.
You want to do? Oh, really? Okay. All right. Hold on. Let's do it right. John.
Sweet sassy Molassy. Get out the checkbook and pay Grandma for the rubdown.
So, John, is that your sweet sassy Molassy play of the game, or is just that good?
Sure is.
That's a good one.
So, like the whole thing leading up to it is a whole thing. The Hawes. So, from what I understand, Hawes lined up incorrectly, so they called a timeout because they still wanted to run the play because they thought it was going to work. And then they come back to the play, and he goes in motion, and he's tripping, falling down as the play is snapped. But he gets back up, he runs the route, and then he flips it to him, and the defenders are like the two guys that are kind of around him, but not like right there. They're look like they have no idea what's going on. And Allen just flips it to him, and he catches it for a touchdown. It was amazing. The only downside is I think he tried to flip like that later in the game, and it didn't work out. I think he was ad hocing that one a little bit more so. I don't think that was as predetermined, and that kind of went wayward. But I thought that was a heck of a play. And he had that great catch. Was it the week before to the goal line?
The Ravens, yeah.
And so, you've been hearing it from some of the Bills, reporters and beat reporters and stuff since the draft that not only was, Hawes like one of the best blocking tight ends in the draft, but he can take over that, every, how many times were you at a game last year where you hear Alec Anderson, eligible receiver, as an extra offensive line? Well, he's filling that role, and he can catch passes too, apparently. So I think it's awesome. It's really amazing. They ran with 3 tight ends lots of times, and you look at the snap percentages with Knox, Kincaid, and Hawes. They're all between 40 something and 57% for each of the players. So they're playing lots of snaps. It's great. I love it. I love the wrinkle.
This was something when we were talking after the draft, and I agree with everything you said about the wrinkle. Jackson Hawes, being that tight end, being that versatile blocker. We said right after the draft, we're like, could he be potentially the 6th offensive lineman that they've been looking for? Because now, hey, guess what? You have a guy that can actually catch a pass if they need to, right? Add a wrinkle to this offense that they haven't had when they've had the 6 offensive linemen. It's a 95% chance they're going to run the ball, right? You bring him out there, they'll probably run it, but maybe they like the looks and they decide to send him out, in a pattern for something like that, like that little shovel pass. I love it. I love that Josh Allen was able to improvise that, because he could have easily run it if he wanted to. You knew he kind of wanted to, the way he was running. And then, if he can avoid it, maybe that's maturity, that's just intelligence, football intelligence, IQ. But he flipped it. He didn't have to take any contact. And I love the play. I love Jackson Hawes in this role. John, I don't want to get too ahead of myself because I think the Bills have some promising rookies, but is Jackson Hawes the most impactful rookie at this point, or is he close to being it?
If he isn't, he's close. I think right now, it's only been 3 games. It's between him and Deion Walker.
Deion Walker, I was going to say that. It's I don't know which one is more important, but they've both been very important so far. Kind of surprising that it's Deion Walker over TJ Sanders too. Are you a little surprised by that? We haven't really heard TJ Sanders talked about a lot in the first 3 games. I know it's early. He's still a rookie. I'm not upset or surprised, but he was drafted ahead of him.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that Deion Walker has been effective because he's kind of unique. I just wasn't sure like how quickly coming into the NFL how he would be, but he's had the opportunity because Ogunjobi's not there and Hoyt's not there, and they don't have his Ed Oliver's been out, so the opportunity's there for him to show what he can do, and he's been great. Yeah, TJ Sanders. Sometimes players take a few more games to show themselves. So I'm not worried yet.
No. Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
surprised that it's the fourth
Yeah.
rounder over the second rounder, just
Right.
purely based on draft status. But
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, look at Kyrie Elam and Christian Benford. It happens, but it's too early right now. Definitely too early right now.
Oh yeah.
And if you're talking rookies, obviously Harrison, we got to wait on. Landon's been inactive all 3 games. I know it's a numbers thing too, but you're gonna want to hope that he makes an impact at some point.
Can I tell you why that's disappointing? And again, he's a third round pick. Are we expecting him to be this amazing pass rusher in his rookie season? Absolutely not. So this isn't a knock on him specifically. But what I will say is the Bills are not having they're not having bad pass rush. They're not having amazing though, where they couldn't use a guy who could get to the passer, right? Like they're not making him inactive because listen, guys, we're just getting way too much pressure from our edge defenders. So not named Joey Bosa. So we really can't afford to have him inactive. I don't think that's the case at all. In fact, like one of my I'll just give a wall of shame honorable mention is the pass rush on the edge outside of Joey Bosa, which is kind of scary a little bit just considering Joey Bosa's injury history. So I don't want to have to rely only on him. But he's the only player of the Bills edge rushers that was graded in like a really, really good grade for PFF for pass rush win rate, which is what it is. I'm glad we have Joey Bosa. You just don't want to have to rely on him solely. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Couple of things. It is funny that I do it myself too. Anytime anybody ever mentions Joey Bosa, since the Bills got him through the whole training camp, and then before and after the first week, before and after the second week, before and after the third week, they always caveat if he's healthy. I do the same thing. I don't know if it's to not jinx it,
Yeah.
but I have found that funny that every person says that. But in this particular game against Miami, as a team, they only had 5 quarterback hurries, but Tua was getting it out super quick, and I think that was on purpose to combat the Bills having a little bit better pass rush than in the past. And the Bills have been blitzing more too. I don't know what the blitz rates were against Miami, but I know over the first 2 weeks it was higher than normal for them. But
So
yeah, you worry about is Rousseau, they extended Rousseau. So with having somebody like Bosa on the one side and teams maybe trying to focus more on him, you would think Rousseau would kind of take that next step, and I don't think we've seen that yet.
no, not yet. No, I agree with that. So I mean, because his best season was when Von Miller was peak Von Miller and Leonard Floyd were in there, and they had great play on the opposite side of him. They were going to have a good pass rusher, so it made him that much better. I'm going to give my sweet sassy Molassie play of the game to. I'm stuck between two. I love the Jackson Hawes catch. I'm stuck between the Terrell Bernard interception with 3:06 left in the game to really ice the game. That was huge when they were up 28-21. The Dolphins were driving too. It wasn't like it was a complete stall offensively. And Terrell Bernard just kind of jumps the route that Tua's really staring at his receivers. And I saw this funny meme of, I don't know if you've seen the meme where this guy is just going through the roller coaster. I know I retweeted it on Twitter. He's going through the roller coaster and he's just staring at the person behind him the whole time, like they're going down. The huge thing is he's just staring at them, like no emotion, no fear, no excitement. And the caption was Tua looking at his receivers, like just staring down his receivers. And Bernard just jumped the route. And great
Yeah.
play.
Well, I saw Kurt Warner break down that play,
Mhm.
and it basically came down to that it was a great defensive play. It was like the only place Tua had to go with the ball, and Bernard had seen that on tape and jumped the route and got it.
Jumped the route. And who tipped the ball? Do you know who tipped the ball to make that? Help
I
out a
didn't
little bit.
I didn't know there was a
A
tip
guy
on.
we just were raving about, rookie
Oh
defender,
yeah, yeah.
defensive
Oh
lineman.
yeah. Oh, Deanne Walker. Yeah, that's right.
You know, when we were just to go back to Dan Walker for just a quick second. One of the reasons I was excited about him was that we got him in the fourth round. He's a huge human being, 6'6", 360 pounds, like mammoth, right? Not only that, but like his year before the year he got drafted, he was playing at a level that would have been like top 5 or better in pass rush win rate in his 2023 season. And the only reason that we can, not the only reason, but one of the reasons that you can point to his 2024 season in Kentucky, like it wasn't as good, is because he was battling back injuries the whole time. So again, the caveat asterisk, when he's healthy, and we didn't know if he would be. Honestly, with back issues, you don't know. Those could go away in a few weeks or maybe a few days, or they could linger on for months or longer. So they didn't, and he's showing it.
I think the Bills have strategically made moves with Brandon Beane over the years. Guys who have had injuries where other teams might be afraid, and I think they've done some extent of research to figure out, okay, we're going to take a chance on him for whatever like Jordan Poyer had an injury history, I think, right? There's other vets that they've brought in the past that worked out that had been injured on other teams. I mean, very talented guys, and I don't know what his process and their process is in evaluating that and figuring that all out, but they're
It
doing good.
works.
Yeah.
So far, the gamble has paid off. Now, when it comes to January, we'll be ticked off for some reason. But I mean, and then just think about it. Like, I mean, the defensive line, for the most part, looks pretty good this season. Imagine when they do get Ogunjobi back. Imagine when they do get Michael Hoyt back, right? Like, it'll help out the pass rush. It'll help out the defense. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
Ed Oliver coming back, Milano being healthy again. Harrison. So the one thing about Harrison that worries me is not for him, but for the team. When he is healthy enough to practice and come back and potentially play, he, much like Cole Bishop the year before, he missed time. Harrison missed a lot of training camp. He missed all these games. How long is it going to take for him to get? He's a first round pick, so can't take that long. But what should our expectations be? Because Trey White, after an ACL and an Achilles, like he crossing pattern with Tyreek Hill or Waddle, was it? I can't remember which one. Both him and Benford got burned by those two guys in that game. Harrison's fast, right? So hopefully he's good to go and take over one of those cornerback slots.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that was a not so great game for the Bills starting corners, even including Benford. Against. But then again, when you're playing against Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle, two really good wide receivers, I don't know if you're expecting them to get shut down, either of them completely. So yeah, that's a good point. I think Harrison, when he comes back, so I hear what I've heard is that he's healthy now he's rehabbed. He's healthy from his injury, but the hard part now is rehabbing because you weren't able to do a lot of physical exercise on that knee because it's injured. So you don't want to put a lot of weight on it. So now imagine, us, like he probably has like the leg muscle like us, like like a guy that isn't in a coma, so we have some muscle mass, but at the same time, it's not enough to play the game of football. So at the NFL level, So that's where he's at right now. He's trying to go from like our sedentary lifestyle to him, being able to run a 4.240. So he'll get there. I don't mind him waiting a little bit longer to get to that point. So he'll be ready for, just a few more games, watching, taking it all in, and then being ready when the time comes. Because maybe there's a point in a game, maybe it's week 8, week 9, where Trey White is just struggling, but Hairston is healthy, so they just put him in. What I picture it happening is he goes in like just small spots, right? Like here and there. He's active every game that he's healthy. They just in certain downs, or maybe there's 4 wide or something, right? Like where they just need a 4th cornerback or a 3rd cornerback or whatever. Or maybe someone needs a rest. Maybe Trey needs a rest. And then they work him in that way. And then if someone really struggles, like from that time on, week 7, week 8, week 9 on, more likely Tre'Davious White and Christian Bedford, then he goes in for them for that series or another series or whatever. The way that the coaching staff goes, they probably, even if Trey had to come out for an entire series and Hairston did a great job, they'd still put Trey back in because they don't like to sit guys like that are veterans. They're important to the locker room. But over time, we'll see. What is that kind of how you see it?
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. If once he's healthy, they'll work him in. Maybe to rest Trey White on certain plays or certain drives, depending on game script. And if he does good, then he just kind of does more of it until he's a starter.
Exactly. What's good is that it's a good problem to have. Like, luckily, Trey White is back. He is healthy, so we do have that option. But John, I want to go into Wall of Fame and Wall of Shame. So let's start off with Wall of Fame, of course.
Wall.
Wall of Fame for the Buffalo Bills. Who or what do you put on the Wall of Fame in this one? By the way, real quick, I can't believe I forgot this. So my sweet testing last play of the game is either going to be the Terrell Bernard interception or the Zach Seidler running into our punter. Like, I want to give him the sweet sassy Molassy play of the game for that, because that was the turning point of the game. That could have also been the Gettysburg of the game, but another one. I think if I had to choose, it's going to go Terrell Bernard, because that was actual like a heads up play. It was a heady play by our middle linebacker, our captain of the defense of the team. So more or less than the guy, but I mean both were important. So John, Wall of Fame, who do you have on that one?
I got 3 choices here, but I'm gonna go with ultimately Josh Allen. As you said before, 22 of 28, 75.5%, 213 yards, 3 touchdowns, very efficient, no mistakes, led the Bills offense. They got 30 plus points again for however many weeks in a row. Yeah.
So I love Josh Allen for this one. John, what was one of your honorable mentions who are the other ones that you were thinking about going through?
Well, one was Terrell Bernard, the 7 tackles, 1 for a loss, the pass defense in the pick to close it out. And then the other one was James Cook, 19, 108, as you said before, 5.7 yards per attempt, touchdown, and 3 for 10 receiving.
Yeah, great game. Great game. Those are all on my Wall of Fame. Yeah, everything you just mentioned. I had the Bernard stats pulled up. Josh Allen, obviously. Dalton Kincaid, I thought, had an honorable mention sort of game for him.
For
Just
sure.
had that one drop, but he was a leading receiver for the Buffalo Bills. So I'm going to give. I like all those. In fact, I'm going to give my Wall of Shame is related to one of your Wall of Fames. So let's do that one.
Shame. 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 Shame.
So Wall of Fame, John, I'm going to give myself the Wall of Shame here. One of them at least, because you were talking about James Cook. I thought again, like, James Cook had a great game. I'm going to give my Wall of Shame because I was worried, or I wasn't worried, but I don't think I gave James Cook enough credit in the offseason that he was as good of a running back as he is, that deserved the extension that he got. I was happy he got it. I was just hoping it wouldn't be at the detriment of losing Connor McGovern or, the other guard. Why can't I think of Andrews? No, David. I can't think of, why am I blanking? Edwards. Sorry. And I was well, you're not going to be able to sign those guys. But when James Cook is in there is a notable difference between him and every other running back on the roster. And anyone that holds the ball. He is just so dynamic. He's so good with the football. And it looks like at this point, he's only getting better with time. Like he's seeing the holes and the gaps and the blocks, and he's having such patience. I love the way he runs. I always have, but it's so much more apparent this season, and he just continues to get better. So I'm going to give myself that for that one, but I have some other ones too as well. So John, who do you have on your wall of shame?
Yeah, I mean, I would put you on the wall of shame too, but I had the same opinion as you with running backs, and
Yeah, I know. I was
so
going to say, don't you get on your high horse.
that would mean putting me on the wall of shame. So I'm not going to do that. That's preposterous. I'm never wrong
That's so dumb. Never put
about
yourself
anything.
in the wall.
I'm going to put the third down defense. 10 for 15 Miami was on third down, over 66%. Not good.
Yeah, especially for an offense that had been struggling, maybe not the week before, but the very first week against the Colts. Yeah, third down defense. John, if we were to look at the wall of shame for the last, I don't know how many years, 3 or 4 years, like it probably would be on the wall of shame pretty consistently throughout the season. Bills' third down defense is definitely sus. So that was a good one. I like that one a lot. Chad Labrie is in the comments. He says wall of shame. He gave Bernard the wall of fame, but he says wall of shame. Special teams D just had too many issues on kick returns. I like that one.
Yeah, that's good.
This was the game too where they had the most mishaps on special teams. So I was so quick to give Chris Tabor, the new special teams coach, an honorable mention of the Wall of Fame in week 1, and now I think he deserves an honorable mention on the Wall of Shame in week 3. But especially with the missed field goal too, if you want to add that on top of it.
That was
yeah,
a really bad field goal kick. I don't know what happened on that one.
I've seen people have said that it was blocked. So it hasn't shown up in my feed ever since that night for whatever reason. More shots of it, but I believe it was hit. But even if it was, like, let's say it was blocked. Let's say someone got through. So that's a bad.
I didn't see. I watched it. I didn't see that. I don't know. I think he was just really bad on that one. But then he made kicks later after that. So I don't know. It was just a one-off. So they're definitely gonna have a decision when Bass is ready to come back.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. It wasn't bad enough where he deserves the wall of shame, but it wasn't good enough where he deserves the wall of fame. So here I found the kick. Okay. All right, I'm gonna show this for everyone streaming.
Kick is no good.
Okay, so I'm gonna show it. Okay, make sure you're watching the guys in the middle, just John, just to see as I slow this down. See if anyone blocks it. No, it looks like it goes right off his foot.
No, right yeah, it just definitely goes way left.
I mean, that guy is right there. Well, look at that guy who's all the way through.
All right, let me see him actually. So I was watching the guy's hands. Let me see him actually kick it this time.
And that kick is no good.
Ooh, that might have been blocked, dude. Watch it again.
And that kick is no good.
I mean, that came off really funny. And those laces were not in a bad position. You can see that too.
I don't know. Alex, no, he just kicked it 50 yards to the left.
Watch the guy coming over the left guard.
And that kick is
yeah,
good.
Okay.
I don't think he got there though.
And that kick is no good.
I'm gonna slow this down. I wish we had okay, here he goes. Step. About to kick it. Here he goes. If I could only see where this ball was before, it's like right. It's hard to tell when.
I don't know where the ball is right now.
Look, here it is. It's right here. Look where it is right here. See that?
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
It's right in front of that guy.
It's already going to the left, though. Look, it's not even close
to the left.
Yeah, it's not even close to going towards the uprights. He missed it. He fucking missed that.
So here's the ball. This is like trying to break down the JFK assassination thing. Where was the other football? It is right near this guy's foot, this hand, though. I will say that. Look at this guy. Look, there's the ball. I wish I had this John Madden marker.
He did get through, but all right, go to the next frame.
That's right where his hand is.
What's the next frame?
Dude, it's like right here now. Look, it was right here.
You can't, it's too grainy for me to tell.
So if it was going straight,
but if it was going straight, it'd be way more to the right. Yeah, it was already going off that way.
Yeah, why was it going that way? It should have been going this way.
I wonder if the direction
is.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah,
okay,
that was
so
that was
Prater.
on Prater. Yeah.
Let us know in the comments, guys. Let us know if you think that was Prater or yeah. See, there it is now. No, okay, so I'm gonna try to follow it backwards now. Okay, ready? So this is backwards.
I wish the ball was like yellow or something. So it'd
I
be,
know something so we can see. We need that NHL. The NHL used to do the thing where you could follow the puck because it was all
yeah.
like highlighted, and then yeah, you miss it. But that's the thing. Maybe that's why it is a block because we miss it up until that frame, and then we don't see it right there. After
Yeah,
this,
but wouldn't I don't know. More people would have said something about that. 'Cause I
people
didn't
did
hear
say that in
anything.
my timeline because I was saying how important that kick was that it went that way. Like, but yeah.
I didn't hear anything from like the Bills or anything.
Oh no,
That
me either.
And that kick is no good.
it was like so far off. He just
There's no
like
way he. I mean, guys get
hooked
through
it
all the time
so
like
bad.
that, right?
He hooked it so bad.
Yeah. I mean,
And
guys
that
get
kick
through
is
all
no
the
good.
time. I don't think he really affected it. Or did that guy do that thing where he shows?
And that kick is no good.
Oh no, I saw sometimes the defenders when they deflect it, they like
And that
show it
kick is
going off
no
their
good.
hands. You know, like they do that thing where they
Yeah.
show
No,
that. They didn't show that.
And that
I don't
kick
think
is
he got it.
no
Okay.
good.
All right.
no,
Let
it's
us know in
bad.
the comments if you think that was actual. We just broke down the tape, circling the wagon style, which means that there was absolutely no conclusion to what we decided. But yeah, shame.
It's gonna be tough because I think they're two good kickers, and they both have flaws, and they both have really good things about them. So that might be a tough thing when Bess is healthy.
Can we say that we keep Bass on ice until Prater just like turns into Matt or Steven Hauschka and Dan Carpenter like in their third or fourth year here, like where they're just off the rails and you're just like they just can't get their confidence back. Like they're toast. Like it would be nice to then bring in Tyler Bass, hopefully a fully healthy Tyler Bass at that point.
I guess you could stash them on IR, and once you activate them, it's like you have that practice window. But like, I think that's if you're planning on playing them right away, this thing, you can just do that. So, yeah, maybe they can just do that.
Yeah, it's so funny that the IR rules are the way that they are. So they can bring him back to the active roster in week 5. Obviously, that's 4 games.
But they don't
But
have to. Is there a minimum? Like they could
n-
wait 10 games, right?
no, I don't think there's a minimum. No, there's a minimum. I'm sorry. I don't think there's a maximum. The minimum is 4 games. The maximum I don't think is a certain
But
timeline.
yeah, that's a maximum. Yeah.
So I think we're
So, yeah, and then the practice window opens when you return them from IR, where they can practice for 3 weeks, and then they're either on IR for good or you activate them.
yeah.
So that part doesn't matter, I think, in this situation.
No, I don't think it applies. Yeah. Yeah, so John, on my wall of shame, I'm also going to put Sean McDermott on it. His challenges or non-challenges continue to be atrocious. He's like what 8 for like 25 or something like that, like or
Oh,
4 for 28 or something. It's terrible.
so I wanted to bring that up again. I'm glad you brought that back up because you mentioned earlier about the Tyreek Hill catch that wasn't a catch, that led to Miami points, right? They got a field goal on
Yes,
that play or something. Yeah,
yes, it did. Yep.
or on the drive.
So
So there's got to be somebody in the booth who's voicing down to McDermott, "Hey, I saw that replay in real time or whatever. You should challenge or not challenge this play." Like, is that like who does that? And is that like over the years, has it been the same person? Have they rotated that person in? Like, it can't all be McDermott because doesn't always have the vantage point. He's got to get that information from somewhere, right?
oh, John, I've done the research. I know exactly who it is who should have been there for that one. Hold on, I'm pulling up the tweet so you can see it. I made a graphic for it too.
Boy.
Where are you? I spend way too much time on this, dude. Like sometimes I have no time at all to do anything, and then sometimes I have the most time ever. Okay, I can't find the tweet, but it's John Perry. John Perry is a retired NFL official who joined the Bills in 2024, and
So
I'm
it's
like,
recent. So it's recent. So that doesn't explain the ones before 2024, but
exactly,
the ones since then.
exactly. McDermott gets a pass on those because he didn't have this guy, and now he has this guy. It's like, hey, where the hell? It was like that, that scene in Happy Gilmore. Do you remember when he goes to his first like tour and he gets his caddy. He's never had a caddy before. He's just like, oh yeah. He's like, oh yeah, just stand around. He's like, just make sure I don't do anything dumb. And then he's standing in the tee box, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, Mr. Gilmore, it's so and so's time to hit the ball. Okay, all right, good luck, buddy. Please get out of the tee box. And he goes over to the kid, his caddy. He's like, geez, where were you on that one, dipshit? It's just like the same thing for John Perry. It's John, where were you on that one, man? Like, where were you in McDermott's headset being like, challenge that call? He did not catch it. He was bobbling it.
Because
With one foot in
you
bounds.
could see it on the initial, like, so the announcers are really dumb,
They're
but
so bad.
I questioned it in real time on the play. So anybody watching the television feed could see that.
Mhm.
And then the announcers are like, "Oh yeah, great, well, blah 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 blah." And then like at the very end, like at the very last replay, at the very last second before they went to the next play, one of the two announcers was like, "Oh, like he finally saw that he
Yeah.
might not have caught it, but it was already to the next play, so they didn't even say anything after.
He didn't even address it.
Like
Usually they go
like
back. They didn't even go
yeah
back.
yeah, they're like you. Oh, I was so upset.
I'm so upset. They should have made such a bigger deal of that than they did. Yeah, so that was John Perry. We can thank John Perry and Sean McDermott for that, but mostly John Perry. This is interesting. Michael Biggs over on YouTube said, Prater's plant foot points way left. Where your toe points is typically where the ball goes, which, John, it makes sense. You and I played soccer. Like that's clear. I don't know why I didn't even think of that. I don't know what.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens, right? I mean, for sure. So good call on that from Michael Biggs. So yeah, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt here. I'm slowing it down, trying to see exactly where the ball.
No, he definitely really screwed that up. But he's been fine. Like it's one out of everything in 3 games.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a trend yet, and he did good after that kick. He made kicks, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go all over him for that. We'll see though. But it's one of those things where it raises an eyebrow. Like you're like, okay, is this the beginning of something, or is it just a fluke? So,
right. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Bass either. I want them both to succeed. I was at the game where Bass kicked that 60-something yarder against Miami to close out the game. So like, Bass is great. Love Bass. I just want to see whoever's kicking for us do well. So.
And I want the best of those two options at any given time, all the time.
Well, yeah,
Whoever it is. I don't care who it is. To be honest, like I like them both. I just want the better of the two, whoever that is.
Yeah. So when they have to make that decision, hopefully it'll be apparent. But
probably
for
not.
now, for now,
but probably not. It'll be super muddy, and then they'll either wait too long to make the decision, or they'll make the decision too hastily. And Tyler Bass is not playing well. He goes for like 1 for 3, and we're like, geez, do we go back to Prater? Like, what's going on? Because as soon as you put Prater on the practice squad, right? Like he's going to.
He'll be on some others.
You will be, unless he's garbage.
Well, I don't know. Like nobody wanted him before the season. Like he took a red eye to Buffalo. The whole story, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And then he kicked really well against the Ravens 2 days later. So whatever.
Yeah, it's a good point. That's a good point. All right, let's go into our hot takes from folks on Twitter. I'll never say X. I just can't. For some reason, it'll just always be Twitter to me, and nobody else seems to be changing their mind, so I'm not going to change my mind. So if you're following us at Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or whatever, or YouTube, we're at CTW Pod, like Circling the Wagons podcast. And after every game, I ask for your hot takes. And for the most part, y'all don't disappoint. There's some really good ones. So Andrew Freeman says, felt like these seasons have blurred together. So many things happen that we've been seeing for years. Bills can't get off the field on 3rd downs. Defensive line can't get enough pressure. Taylor Rapp injures a Bills play. And of course, the Bills beat Miami. That's good. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Richard W. Griswold says, better than expected effort from Miami, but they still found a way to lose. Bernard with a clutch late interception off Tua. The pass rush missed Oliver, that's for sure. Some bad angles by the Bills second. They missed week 1 at Oliver, for sure. Week 1 at Oliver was incredible. Some bad angles by the Bills secondary from time to time. Allen and Cook were solid. Early line, Bills minus 14.5 versus the Saints. Now they're up to 16.5. So JC says, aside from 2 series, the D played better than the offense. That is a hot take because I don't necessarily agree with that. So, but yeah, so this is Joe C. It is a hot take though. Joe C says Dorian Strong starts over Trey White by week 5. Dude, if that's the case and Trey White needs a starter, I'm hoping Max Hairston is back around then. But if not, I mean, getting Dorian Strong some reps is not a bad thing. He looked pretty good week 1 against a really good team. Nashville says the absolute lack of a passing game 10 plus yards downfield is, and he says gross. Yeah. Yeah. John, what did you think about that? I think it was more of just the game, the way that the game happened. I don't think it's as much a cause for concern.
No, I'm cool with it. The yards per attempt lined up with what the Bills usually do.
Yeah. So yeah, good
Yeah.
point. You mentioned that earlier. So we're on track. It wasn't like a totally awful game. Josh Allen's left arm says, hot take, I'll take Mike McDaniel as OC next year after Joe Brady is, for some reason, hired as a head coach somewhere else. Hey, Mike McDaniel's a good coordinator, right? Just not a great head coach. So
Yeah, I think his leadership is in question, but the Dolphins still have faith in him. They want to. I think if the players are quitting on him, there would be a different story. But they played hard against the Bills, and I think that was enough to squash any of that stuff.
yeah, DJ Chavez says Joe Brady sucks. That is a hot take. I don't think he sucks. There's some things I wish he'd done better for sure, but I don't think he sucks. I think he's brought this run game to a place it's never been before. Maybe you could argue that's more Aaron Cromer than Joe Brady, just because Cromer's taking this offensive line to a new place. But somebody was saying, I was talking to a friend. They're like, I would take Brian Dable back as soon as he gets fired from the Giants. I'm like, I don't know if I would. John, if you had a choice,
No,
Joe Brady or Brian Dable,
I
both.
think Brady's doing a great job. I wouldn't change a thing right now. The rushing game is great. The passing game is great. Allen's on another level. Offensive line is good.
It's like a well balanced
There's
offense. Like
no,
there's not.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's no, what flaw in the offense is there?
They actually had kind of like a little bit of a trick play, like they're I'm not upset with the
The
offense.
Bills have won the turnover battle in 25 straight games. They've won at home, like, how many times in a row? 13, 14? Like,
About to be 15 or 16 soon.
yeah,
Yeah.
like they're really good. And the reason why we're we're so great on the offense is because the defense has been suspect at times. We talked about the third down defense, but they're working to address that. They brought in Joey Bosa. They drafted all these defensive players. Deanne Walker has shown great. Harrison was healthy, but
Yeah.
Cole
Well,
Bishop is shown, like, I think he's going to be a guy. He was injured a little bit early on last year, so he lost some of that time, but I think he might be good. And who's that other defensive player that we're talking about?
you weren't talking about Dorian Strong, right?
No, well, no, you mentioned Dorian Strong. Yeah, Dorian Strong, I wanted to mention. He's
Oh, you mean Deion Walker and TJ Sanders, like defensive
no,
line, or
no, no,
just like
no.
defensive backfield?
You know, I was talking about rookies in general.
Oh, rookies, yeah.
Yeah, so Dorian Strong and Deanne Walker.
Looking good so far. Yeah. I wish I was in Buffalo at Saxa. Dave says 3rd and long, and he shows a gif of Will Arnett in Arrested Development. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Classic. Yeah, that's been an issue. 3rd and long. It's so bad that there are people I follow on social media that are definitely not Bills fans, because I usually get most tweets from Bills fans, and where they're like, they could be Packers fans or Giants fans, and they're just like, what is up with the Bills defense on 3rd and long? Like, you might want to start covering those guys. Like, this has been a problem for the last, almost been a problem since Sean McDermott's gotten here. I feel like since Leslie
Well,
Frazier.
I think getting into 3rd and long situations helps immensely, because if you look at the Jets game, their 3rd down defense is a lot better because the Jets were in a lot more 3rd and long situations. Dolphins, they did have some 3rd and longs, but it wasn't as bad. There is more 3rd and intermediate.
Mhm.
Same thing with the Ravens. So I think having more success on 1st and 2nd down just set it up. on third down. I think it would be more root cause.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. Rook 33 says ugly division win is okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. Chad Labrie, our guy Chad, he says a lot of cleanup needed after this one. The defense didn't play like they did against the Jets. The offense needs to continue to drive the ball and score points. Bernard pick sealed the victory. Happy Victory Friday. Go Bills. And there's a couple of pictures of Chad and his son at the actual Bills game. That's awesome, Chad. Good to see that. AJ Tharp writes, it sure wasn't pretty, but it's still 3-0. Lots to clean up. Bosa felt like he was 1 second away from having a 6-sack game and continues to be a great signing. Hawes is our best player from this year's draft. Oh, we were just talking about that, AJ. We were talking about that. Who is the best player of this draft? I don't know if I can give it to Hawes just yet, but he's in the running. He's like top 2, right? Bill Lasso says, no take, just great to finally see a game in Buffalo. Bills fans are the best. So happy. Dude, Bill mentioned this over DMs, over social media, that it would be cool to do like an episode where we talk about what to do when you go to a Bills game for people that are from out of town that have never been to a Bills game, because there's a lot of people that listen to the podcast that are from out of town, that are from either a different state or a different city or a different country. They've never been to the game and they're excited they're going to go to one for the first time, and kind of give them an idea of what what that would entail. So we'll have to do that at some point, maybe before next season or something. Anakin Skywalker says, can't argue with 31 points and a 10-point win on a short week. That's a great point also. It's nice knowing we can easily go 5 wide as effectively as a smash mouth approach with our offensive linemen. Third quarter stall was unnecessary. The pass rush remains a concern, but I'll again take a 10-point win W on 3 days rest, 1-0. DH says, listen, some games you win pretty, some games you win ugly. Last night was ugly. The only thing that matters is the win in the W in the win column. Go Bills. Absolutely. T. Dill says, stop playing down to the competition, put teams away early. I would love that too. But at the same time, you're talking to a lot of different teams that are 0-3 or 1-2 because they wish they would have played down to their competition and come out on top, but they didn't. So I don't know, man. I'm not at the point where I'm super upset at how they're winning yet. I'm just good with being 3-0 at this point.
So what's your prediction for the Saints game at home? Extra 3 days to prepare. What do you think?
I mean, I think that they win by 2 scores easily. I think
So
that
like
that's
70-2 or
I was thinking like not quite 70. That would be impressive. Dude, they
maybe
would
not
take,
2. 2 is safety. That's ridiculous. 70-3.
that's more logical.
Yeah. So I'm looking at DraftKings right now. It's 15.5.
15.5. Okay.
Depending on, if you're a FanDuel or whatever, it might be different, but
I think that's I think they win by more than that. If they can beat the Jets by 20, I think that they can beat the Saints in Buffalo by 20.
The Saints are arguably the worst team in the league. But the Dolphins are also arguably one of the worst teams in the league. We've been by 10. But I didn't believe that. I didn't believe that they have too much talent for that. I think they haven't been able to put it together.
Yeah, agreed.
But the Saints, on the other hand, but then you look at today where the Packers got beat by the Browns, and the Packers are supposed to be one of the top 2 teams in the NFC.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know how that math works out.
Well, so that's one of those things where like everyone that's not happy with this win, which, there are parts of me that isn't excited about it, but at the same time, I mean, how much would Packers fans love to be in our shoes, right? Where they didn't lose an easy one or a game that they should have won significantly.
Right. So. Would you rather like beat Miami 6-3 or lose to them by any other score?
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. You want the win.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 1,000 times. I love this this comment by Michael Biggs. We were talking about Joe Brady versus Brian Dable. Brady is better. Dable was more fun. Dude, that is a perfect analogy.
Yeah,
for that.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Dable was exciting. It was fun. It was pass happy. It was, there were flea flickers or whatever, all that. Like there's at least one trick play a game, it felt like. But Brady's just more efficient, right? It's kind of like almost boring how much more efficiently he runs the offense. So sometimes I think that's what Bills fans, and I'm guilty of this too, sees and doesn't like. Oh, I don't like the way that they're calling these plays, or maybe it's vanilla, but it's efficient. And like you said, they're scoring 30+ points a game. Hard to be upset about that. John, what do you think about that game against the Saints? 70-3?
I mean, you would you think they're going to cover? I think so.
Oh yeah, I think they will. At least as of now. I mean, if
I
they get
thought
Odd
I
Oliver
thought
or Matt Milano back, absolutely.
I thought they would cover against Miami. They didn't. They won because that was like 12.5 or something, right?
Well, the only reason I didn't bet on that game covering is because I was like, okay, it's division rival, it's in Buffalo, but the Dolphins' backs are against the wall, so they're either going to just let this ship, just sink, or they're gonna decide to give Buffalo a run for their money, and they don't like Buffalo. The Dolphins have never, as a team, have never liked the Bills, and vice versa. Like the Bills don't. It's always a chippy game. It feels like so.
Yeah. It was definitely one way or the other kind of game with what you just said. And because they're division rivals, also because of what you just said, that things could get weird either way. They have a long, long history. So, yeah.
They have to hear about it all week on the radio, social media, about how the Bills own the Dolphins, like the last 4 or 5 seasons, right? Like how, like
They
Josh
got that
Allen,
Josh Allen meme with the baby bottle with
yeah,
the dolphin and
feeding the
everything. Like
yeah.
I'm sure that's bulletin board material. That
Mhm.
like
There's not a whole lot of that going along against the New Orleans Saints. So like there just isn't. So yeah, I think the Bills cover it. And like you said, the difference with the Dolphins is the Dolphins have a bad record, but they're not necessarily as bad as the record. But it sounds like the Saints are actually that bad. So
the Dolphins also have a lot of talent on offense. The Saints are just right now like the quarterback starter is probably the worst in the league right now. One
yeah.
of the top 2 or 3 worst.
Mhm.
So the Bills' weaker point is on defense. They got a shot at that. They're gonna like they got good schemes too. Like they're not like bad. Like they're like people are talking about the Bills' defense, this and that, and they brought in some players. The pass rush is a little bit better with Bosa. Once Harrison gets healthy, Milano's healthy, they got Bernard still. Like they are pretty good. And you look at their schemes that they play. You look at the interception with Bernard in the last game. Like Tua's smart guy. He's no doubt. He threw it to a spot where he thought this guy could get it, and Bernard just remembered that play that they've done previously and ran to a spot and picked it off. And I don't know, like the Bills run a good defense.
Mm.
Even when you look at like past years, it doesn't matter who they have in there with injuries. They always keep it in the game.
John, what do you think about? So we're both in agreement that the Bills can probably easily handle the Saints and also cover the 15.5 points. I'm just thinking out loud. There's 2 things I'm thinking, and unfortunately, I'm kind of thinking in a way of betting. So I'm looking at the idea of maybe Bills defense, special teams is a good prop for anytime touchdown, because I think this could easily be a game where the Bills cause a turnover, because Spencer Rattler is still the quarterback right now for the Saints, I believe. So I think this could easily be like a multiple turnover game for the Bills defense. They take advantage of. I think defense special teams could be a good anytime touchdown prop. Unlike any normal game, I don't think I don't like those as much, but this might actually be a good one.
That sounds interesting. I've never seen that or looked into that particular bet before. Like, what's usually the odds on those?
They're like, plus, I mean, it's like all the top offensive guys, and then it goes to like the defense special teams of both teams usually, and then it goes down to like, second string tight end and like third string running backs, like that sort of thing. Like fifth string wide receiver. It'd be like Tyrell Shavers would be after that. But like before that, it would be like Keon Coleman, like Khalil Shakir, Joshua Palmer, or at least Elijah Moore would all be for the most part above that. Like I think Jackson Hawes was below it because it was so unlikely last week, but because he was like plus 15,000 or something. So like normally it's like plus at least 900, more like 1,200 or so. So unlikely, but I
Hmm.
like that one. Oh, so think about that one. But here's my other prop that I want to give to you that you're going to make a decision on tonight, and I'll give you my thoughts on it too, and we'll see who's right next week,
Oh
because we
boy.
both sound pretty confident about this game against the Saints.
I
Over
know.
on
I still want to knock on wood because
Yeah, I know. Well, this prop that I'm giving you that doesn't exist anywhere on any sports book will cover that scenario, either good or bad. So over under for the time that Josh Allen sits out the rest of the game,
whoa.
sits the rest halfway through the fourth quarter, over under halfway through the fourth quarter. So either before halfway point or after the halfway point, he sits and doesn't take another snap.
Before or after? Wow.
So like 7:30? 7:30 in the fourth quarter. When does he This is even insane. It feels insane as a Bills fan to even put that as an option, a prop bet, just because we've never had this. It feels like we haven't had this luxury forever. But I want to say over under 7.5 into the fourth quarter, halfway through the fourth quarter. Because if you
Let's
say
say
over, then that means that he's gonna be taken out like prior to that point, right? So maybe 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, maybe in the end of the third quarter. You never know. They scored 70 points, they're probably going to take him out. Or if you say under, then it means that he's either going to be taken out just at the very end of the game or not at all.
I can say after because they'll probably leading up until that point, if they have a big lead, it's gonna be a lot of handoffs anyway. And then once they get to a certain point, time wise, take them out. So I'm gonna say over.
I'm going to go I'm going to say, so over it means that, okay, so they're going to keep him in longer than the
Yeah,
7.5.
he'll
So
he'll be.
I think that's more of an under. So I'm going to say, so you're thinking he's going to be, I'm thinking over. So I think he's going to be coming out like with like 10, 11 minutes left in the fourth. That's when I think they'll be
I mean,
taken
I
out.
could see that but
When they take him out in the Jets game, I think it was around that same time.
when
Something like
was
that.
it?
It was long. To me, in my head, it was longer than it should have been. So maybe that plays to your point. If I think it should be, you know, they're up
I
25 points and then, it's the fourth quarter, they might still keep them in and hand them off, like you said. But
The other part of me is the Bills. I feel like I've had the same thought since the 90s, but they play to their opponents. Doesn't matter how good or bad they are, but they play to.
play to their level. Yep.
So it
No
could
doubt.
be close. It could be closer than what we're thinking. So I, yeah, probably go that way.
Okay. Well, it'll be interesting to see which one of us is right, because that's like a fun one that you just can't do necessarily on a betting site, but it'll be between us because I'm
Yeah,
feeling for some
we'll
reason.
bet. Let's bet $1 million on it.
Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds good. Let's just make up any amount of money that I don't have. Sure. Million, 3 million, a gajillion. Sure. Absolutely. Well, hold on. I gotta bring up the Tito's football that the wonderful people of Tito's gave us for collabing with some social media post a couple of seasons ago. I'm now just getting rid of it. So if you guys are familiar, if you want to be part of this, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts with your Twitter handle or Instagram handle, social media handle, whatever. And also leave us a 5-star review on social media or Spotify. But you have to screenshot and message us to if you do it on Spotify. For some reason, it doesn't show up there. But then also, if you're a subscriber, if you leave a comment, like Michael Biggs was in, Chad Labrie has been in before, so Christopher is going to be in now. Big Mike was in. I missed Big Mike earlier. I apologize, Big Mike. He did mention the thing about looking at planners or Prater's plant foot, both with multiple footballs and multiple stuff. So if you do see your name called, you have to make sure that you let us know that you heard our name, either DM us on or yeah. So the winner is Mass Bills, MASS space Bills, Mass Bills. So just DM me, let me know that you listened to the podcast or watched it or streaming it live, and give me your address and I'll send it over to you. So I'll send it over. I can probably do it this week actually. So we got more stuff. I think we have there's like a Tito's jersey and stuff. So shout out to Tito's Vodka for this cool sponsorship and partnership on this one. So cool. So John, any final thoughts before we sign off?
Third down offense was better, I think. 6 for 11, 54.5%. That's pretty good. And only 3 penalties for 35 yards, which was good.
Man, gotta give credit where credit's due. I love it, John. So thank you guys all for listening. Appreciate anyone in the chat, anyone that's watching us stream, anyone that's listening to us the next day or the next few days. Thank you guys for being a part of this and listening to the show, as always. So signing off for John.
Go Bills. This is going to be the undefeated season and the best team of all time. Go Bills.
I love it. How do I follow that one up, John? How do you expect me to just say this is keep your expectations under wrap, guys. Okay, go Bills. Like no, this feels good. I like the way that this season feels. I'm with you, John. So for me, Nate, I love what John's saying. I think that this feels like a team of destiny to a point with the way that they've been winning games. So I love it. I'm just excited. Hopefully you guys are excited and along for the ride. And we'll talk to you guys all again next week. Go Bills.
Thank you for listening to the Circling the Wagons podcast. Download and subscribe to us in your favorite podcast service. Email us at ctwpod@gmail.com. That's Charlie Tango Whiskey Pod@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at CTWPod. And most importantly, go Bills!
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, Nate.
Well, listen, the whole show is called Circling the Wagons. Say no more. I love it.